So after 10 or 11 sessions today, Nifty is finally back above 10,000. Although we didn't see a lot of follow-up buying above that level, so there could be some disappointment. But really, if you look at it, Nifty Sensex or Nifty Bank have been kind of lagging behind today. We have seen more action in mid-cap and small-cap, and let's focus there because most of the traders and dealers are actually focusing on mid-cap and small-cap because that is where most of the volume is today. So if you look at Nifty small-cap is up roughly 1%. Yesterday also, we had seen the small-cap and mid-cap index doing much better than the large-cap one. So overall, a lot of action in the mid-cap and small-cap stocks. And if you look at some of the big movers in the index today, well, Lupin is there right at the top, and Power Grid, well, moving up after NFI report kind of tried to clarify on certain negative developments of late. Among heavyweights, you can look at RIL, you can look at Infosys. So they have been driving the market up. Well, on the negative side, we have a mixed data. Some of the banks like SBI, HDFC were in fact putting pressure on index. HDFC down only 0.5%, but look at the weightage. That's very significant contribution on the downside. ICICI Bank, and then both the FMCG biggies, ITC and HUL. So these were the sectors that really didn't allow Nifty to move far ahead of 10,000 really.
All about the broader markets today, Pradeep. There are a lot of stocks which were locked in upper circuit. Let me just take you through them. TVS Electronics, for the second straight session, we saw the gains coming about. TVS Electronics once again was up almost 20% in today's session. And not only that, you had the likes of 63 Moons. Remember, this is the counter which has been buzzing off late in the last few sessions. And the buying just came about in the second half of the session. The intraday chart will give you a proper picture of that. Up about 20% and closing above the 100 mark also in today's session. And Indorama also surged in the second half of the session. Good gains seen there. Once again, locked in upper circuit at levels of 35. The other gainers were Sun TV. Now, this stock rose for the 7th straight session and today closing above the 800 mark. So good gains seen for the likes of Sun TV, which is finally closing almost at day's high with gains of over 3% at 820 levels. DMart was the other stock which we've been discussing. Pradeep mentioned there was a report by Motilal Oswal where they've suggested a sell rating. But as you can see it on your screen, nothing stops this counter once again heading towards its all-time high levels, registering gains of almost 7%. Havells saw good traction in today's session. That stock also saw gains. And finally, it closed almost at day's high with gains of 5% at levels of 533. Earnings reaction coming in from South Indian Bank. Well, the earnings were fine. It was only the provisions number which disappointed the street. And as you can see, right after the earnings came, the stock saw some sort of selling pressure. And this was the counter which was witnessing a lot of traction on the upside in the last few days. Biocon was one of the gainers in today's trade after that report came about that the company has received a letter from US FDA with Mylan for some sort of response for its biosimilar, but looks like the stock didn't pay any heed to that letter. It was up almost 7%, Pradeep.
So 10,013 on Nifty really, yesterday's high was 10,015 odd levels. If we were higher than that, that would have been better. But nonetheless, good day overall. You can look at the narrow range in which Nifty kept moving. Let's pull up the advanced decline ratio. That will tell you what exactly happened in the market today. You could look at it, 50% more advances than declines, and no major conversion actually. Towards the end, probably the range narrowed down a bit, but nothing significant. Through the day, there were more advances than decline with a significant margin. So a lot of action that continued in mid-cap and small-cap space. But look at some of the stocks that were actually dragging the index down. You have ITC and HUL, the two FMCG biggies, and banking. So these were two important segments that didn't allow the market to move up much. But on the other hand, it's heartening to see Infosys returning as one of the key contributors on the upside. That is after the company announced the plans for buyback, the dates for buyback offer. And also we had RIL, another heavyweight that has been driving the market up. So net, good day of trading today. We have seen more focus on mid-cap and small-cap, more of the stock-specific action. But finally, after a gap of 11 days, Nifty closing above 10,000. That's the good news.